morning, everybody. It is Sunday, February 16th, and you're watching and listening to Cougar Conspiracies. It's been a hell of a 2 week, guys. But you're watching and listening to K-Conspiracies, the show where we talk about all things that could be going on in the world of K-pop. If this is your first time listening to the show, welcome. I'm your host, Kailene, music director here at Cougar Radio, and I love K-pop, which is why I wanted to have this podcast talking about some of, I don't want to say the darker things of K-pop, but some of these things that I'm going to get into in this season of the show will be dark, but for now, we're going to try to stay fun-hearted if we can. And also, if you're just joining the show, last week I talked about boy groups, so that was all the conspiracy theories that are about boy groups. I think I talked about EXO and who's going to leave next. I talked about BTS having a secret 8th member, which I still haven't edited that video, but it'll be up on YouTube this week, I promise. Like I said, these past 2 weeks have been very busy for some reason. I have no idea why, but don't worry, I'll work on it. I'll get it up. It'll be great. But yeah, and then the week before that I talked about girl groups. And now we're going to kind of move away from the different kinds of groups and just talk about K-pop in general, different aspects of K-pop. And this week we're going to talk about music videos and some of the theories that come with them. Before we get into that, we're going to do my K-pop songs of the week because I've got some good ones for you guys this week that I just recently rediscovered. And I absolutely lost everything I had when I discovered them last night at 1 a.m. while I was doing research for this episode. So, don't ask me about my sleeping problems. I'm fine. But yeah, so first off, we're starting off with 2 PM Hanibun, which is abbreviated by ADTOY. It's right in front of me and I couldn't spell it. But it's just basically all day thinking of you. And it's a really good song. It's an old one. Most of these songs are old. And by old, I mean like not by any rookie groups that most people know these days. Mostly BTS. It's not really a rookie group, but none of them were by BTS, so sorry for all you BTS stans. I'll be talking about BTS in this episode, hopefully, if I get to it, because I have an EXO music video theory that is longer than the amount of time Chris, Luhan, and Tao spent in EXO. That is how long this theory is. And that's why I was staying up till 1 in the morning, because I just got caught up in this research. So, yeah. But I do have some BTS music video theories, so I will be talking about them. I'm not going to leave them out. And then the second song is Kan, I'm Your Girl, which I had a whole phase with this song. Let me just freaking tell you. When I first heard this song, I had a whole phase where this was all I listened to. And I found an hour loop of this song on YouTube. And when I say that was all I listened to, I mean that was all I listened to. So if that is true, then you should take my word and listen to it because it's a great song. But also we'll be talking about this video in this episode as well. So you should also listen to it as well. Maybe when we're on break, because I think you could do it. But yeah, you should definitely do it. If not during the ad breaks after the show, because you won't regret it, I promise. And then Song June, Don't Look at Me Like That. That's another video we're going to be talking about in this episode. But it's also a really great song that you should check out. And yeah. So yeah, let's get into the good stuff. As I apparently like to say now. I don't know. Can't say the other SH word, so. Okay. Yeah. Let's just not talk about what happened last week. I swore a couple times last week. And didn't mean to, but I did, so. But we're moving on from that. So yeah, first of all, before we get into actual music videos, I want to kind of talk about the importance of K-pop music videos. Especially in this kind of music genre. Because a lot of people that listen to the show probably don't know a lot about why they're so important. One, they provide, these are some reasons that I came up with. So if any of you fellow K-pop fans have any other reasons why they're so important, let me know in the comments. Let me know some other way. I don't really know how you do that, but you can let us know somehow, some way. But yeah, they provide visual, which is really important, I feel like, in K-pop, because it's a very visual music genre. Even in terms of, like, how they're dressed and just, like, looking at, like, the concept of the comeback or whatever, the debut. It really helps, I feel like, people, I feel like, judge if they're going to like this group or not. Helps them judge whether they like this comeback, or, helps them pick a bias or something like that. So yeah, the visual aspect of it is very important, which I think is kind of true across all music videos, but especially in K-pop. It shows the choreography. Most of them show choreography. Most songs actually have separate choreography videos. What? Sorry, talking to Adam. But yeah, they have separate choreography videos. So that tells you how important choreography is in K-pop. And these music videos show choreography, so it's really important. And like I said, just kind of connecting the visual, it shows the concept, it helps kind of tie it all together. So say a group is doing a darker concept or a cute concept, it kind of helps tie it all together. So yeah, and also they tell stories, and I actually have a list of some of the best stories that music videos in K-pop have told, and most of them have plot twists that you weren't really expecting, which just goes to show how important the storytelling aspect of it is. So first of all, I'm going to save the first one for last because it will blow your mind. Like, I'm still not over it. BAP One Shot. So this music video is like a whole, like, film, like, short film. Basically, it's like, shows the members that one of them gets kidnapped and held for ransom, but it turns out that the member that got kidnapped, that the other members have been trying to help all along, was actually working for the police and actually just wanted to get them all arrested because they were like gangsters or something. I still don't forgive you for that, Young Jae. I'm sorry, I can't accept your apology. And then we have Sherlock by SHINee. It's when they're a team of investigators and they find out that the person they've been investigating and seeing throughout this investigation actually died years ago. And actually, SNSD Jessica's in this video. So if you like SNSD, you should check that out. And then, yeah, I think I'll get into the other two after the break. See what Adam wants real quick. But yeah, we'll get into the other two and then we'll get into the theory. So stick around because we're going to be having some good content on this episode. So stick around and I will see you after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to K-Conspiracies. If you're just joining us, this episode I was just getting into a little bit about K-pop music videos and why they're so important, because this episode we're going to be talking about K-pop music videos and the theories about what they're about. So yeah, we're just trying to get into why they're so important, and one of the last points I had was that they tell stories. So I was getting into some of the best plot twists in K-pop music videos. So I said that One Shot by BAP, one of the members actually turned out to be a traitor, and then in SHINee's music video for Sherlock, the person that they were, I don't know, I forget, it's been so long since I've watched that music video, but I think the house they were investigating, or the crime or whatever, the girl that owned it or something, she actually turned out to be dead. So that was a plot twist there. And then in Error by VIX, you see, remember Hongbin, he's seemingly putting together like this robot that he created, but at the end you find out that he was also a robot. So, plot twist there. And then the biggest one, which I said I'm still not over, is Please Don't by K-Will. I could not tell you how this song goes, but I can tell you what the music video is about because holy crap. So basically, it's like you see, it's Seungkook. He is also a singer and an actor in Korea, and An Jae-hyun, and then I think it's she's from a K-pop group, a Sistar, one of the Sistar members. I forget her name. Oh my god, I think it starts with an S. I don't remember. I'm so sorry. But like you see him kind of being very like passive aggressive to this girl the whole time, and you just kind of assume it's because he's in love with her. But it turns out he was in love with the guy the entire time. which isn't really surprising because after you go back and watch the music video again, you realize that, like, the way he was acting towards her was so reasonable for how he felt about her fiance, the guy he was in love with. But, like, you just assumed. So, like, you're really just mad at your own assumptions and that you just assumed that everybody was straight. Which, I mean, is another good part of that video because it kind of shows our own biases and our own judgment about how we can be judgmental, even if we don't mean to. But yeah, so those were some good stories in music videos that I suggest you check out. But yeah, so now we're going to get into the real theories here. So we're going to start off with one that I automatically thought of when I think of the theories and the hidden meanings behind K-pop music videos. And that is Coup d'etat by G-Dragon. The legend himself. So basically this song is a banger. Like, even if you're not into, like, getting into the meaning behind music videos, like, this song is top notch, one of his best songs in my opinion, at least for a title track. I think it was a title track. I hope it was a title track, because either that or I have a horrible memory, which is entirely possible. But yeah, so this was released back in 2013, so it was an old one. So the title suggests that it means a coup, which means like a seizure of power. And basically this whole video, what a lot of people got from it was that it kind of symbolized and talked about the current political situation and the politicians that were in power at the time. I don't know if this was more geared toward, the 2013 politics or political situation at the time, but I'm sure you could find some way how it translates into 2020. So it offers some descriptions of the scenes in the video. So in the scene, and I'll try. Can I get these pictures? Yes, I can. So I will insert pictures here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But in this scene, G-Dragon's chest looks black, and that's intended to show that some of the existing politicians are heartless and cruel, and they don't really care about anybody, because, like, it kind of looks like a blood stain, and it's, like, right over where his heart would be, so it kind of shows that, like, oh, they really don't care about other people, they're just in it for money and power. And then in these scenes, it shows, I can describe it for the people listening. Sometimes I forget that this is also listened to. But he's shown painted completely black except for his hair. And this shows that there's many face, and he's in front of a wall that has, like, all these face molds in it, which is speculated to show that politicians have many faces depending on what they want to get from people. So especially now, since we're heading into the 2020 presidential election, you see presidential candidates kind of changing their faces for certain crowds. So, for example, when they want to get they want to be popular among black voters, they kind of change their face there, and all these different demographics. So, but the real one, which is the black face, not like the racist kind, but he's plated completely black, and it shows that that's the real face, that they're really evil on its core. And then in this scene, he's shown sitting at a desk in a room that looks very, very bleak and very, very rotted. And they're shown cooking money, and this tells that the current politicians only want to make money from their job, and again, they don't really care about the implications of what they're doing in their job, because they only want profit, and they don't really think about the effects of what their actions in order to get that money can have. So then we have G-Dragon and the ticket counter, and this illustrates that everything that people need at this time is just about money. And the people who get the benefit from that money are the people inside the ticket counter, which obviously would be the politicians, and everybody outside would be like the citizens and all that. But yeah, I guess I don't really want to get into this EXO one because it's really long, but I will link this Facebook post in the description below, because most of these, again, they're just kind of going over the same thing, that politicians are evil and they don't care about us, and yeah. Maybe that we should throw over, overthrow the government. I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, so I will link that down below because, like I said, I really want to get into the EXO theory at some point. And I apologize to the armies. If we don't get to BTS, we don't get to BTS. Because believe it or not, K-pop does not revolve around them. So, but yeah. So next, Adam is actually the cutest human being in the world. I love him so much. But yeah, so next we're going to get into the LGBTQ plus themes in music videos and what those can kind of mean for how successful a group is. So yeah, stick around and we'll get into that in a couple minutes after the break. See you later. Welcome back, everybody. This is K-Conspiracies with me, your host, Kailene, and we just talked about how the music video for Cope d'Etat by G-Dragon, great song, highly recommend, is basically talking about how politicians don't really care about us and they only care about money and power. And again, I didn't get to go through all the examples, but I will link that Facebook page in the description so you can check out the full thing if you're interested. But now I want to jump into some of the LGBTQ plus themes in music videos. And I have a couple videos that go with that as well to talk about more videos that have more of a direct and very clear connection to the LGBTQ plus community. So I'll link those in the description as well so you can see that. But these ones that I chose, the songs and the videos are more suggestive. That's not a word. Suggestive. Whew. I can speak English, I swear, I promise. Are more suggestive about LGBTQ plus themes, mostly the G and the L. But because they don't directly state it, but I also kind of want to, in connection to that, get into, because some of these groups, with an exclusion of one, haven't really been around after. It's like, I don't know if it was since that comeback, I don't think it was since then, but they just haven't really been around that much. So I'm just going to kind of connect that to the themes in the music videos, themes in some of their songs, and maybe it'll make sense. Hopefully it does. It made sense in my head when I wrote it, so. But yeah, so the first one I'm going to mention is Con, I'm Your Girl. Like I said, is one of my K-pop songs of the week. And in this video, Con is a 2-member girl group. I forget their names off the top of my head. But yeah, they're a 2-member girl group, and their song I'm Your Girl, the music video kind of depicts, there's like one girl that's like in a relationship, and then the other girl, like you can see that she kind of has a crush on her. But like I said, this music video, it doesn't directly, there are a couple moments where you can kind of tell, but other than that, like the whole thing is very artsy and it's very just indirect when it addresses their, like, the nature of their relationship. So you're left kind of wondering, like, is it really about them being, having feelings for each other or what? But like I said, very suggestive in that manner. So my theory is that in this music video, they are attracted to each other. Whether that makes them lesbians doesn't really matter. But yeah, so that was my theory for that video. And then Monsta X, that's the group that is obviously doing really well. But in their music video, All In, which is a really good song. Yes, that's the song I'm thinking of. Basically, the video shows that they're fighting for human rights, like basic human rights, and for the right to live freely. And in the video, it depicts 2 same-sex relationships between the members of the group. And again, these are kind of like, it can be taken in 2 different ways, I feel like, depending on how you look at, homosexuality or same-sex relationships. So for me, this is more suggestive than anything, but I think arguing that the theory is that there are 2 same-sex couples in this video is a pretty solid theory. Let's see what else we got. Songjin, Don't Look at Me Like That. This is actually not a group, it's a solo artist. Another one of my songs of the week. And in this video, there's actually no one else but her in this video as far as a couple goes. But it just shows all these people around her like wearing masks of like different animals. And she's basically being, I don't know, almost crucified for loving somebody. And the song doesn't really have a specific gender that it's targeting. So it really resonated a lot with the LGBTQ plus community in Korea, because some of the lyrics are like, what did we do wrong? We were just loving each other. So the theory is that song, not so much the video, but the song itself is more geared toward the members of that community, since they are, especially in South Korea, you know, criticized so much for just loving differently than what people think is the norm. And again, I just kind of wanted to connect, like with Song Ji-yoon, I think she was in Secret, and you don't really hear much about Secret, which I'm sure is probably just a company problem, because I believe they were under TS Entertainment, which we all know how that went. But let me just say, some K-pop companies are worse than others, but they're all trash, if you ask me. But yeah, so you don't really hear a lot from Con anymore. Like, I personally haven't heard anything about them since. Maybe that's just bad promotion on their representation or their company's part, or I'm just not looking. But you don't really hear much about them and since this. I think this was like their official debut. And then you don't really hear much about Song Ji-yoon anymore. Obviously you hear a lot about Monsta X, so this wouldn't really apply to them. But even just like other artists, because there's a lot of artists in those videos that show same-sex couples, or that's a one where it shows like someone who is transgender, and you don't really hear a lot about these artists anymore. They're not really that popular. Or at least in mainstream K-pop, they're not too popular anymore. So my theory was kind of that maybe part of them not being super popular was because they showed openly their support for the people of this community and their sympathy for people of this community. Because like I said, South Korea is a very conservative society about this topic still. So I think maybe especially a lot of like award show places and a lot of companies, when they see this type of thing being showed in music videos, it's like, well, we can't have that, because then we're going to get a bad rep and people aren't going to listen to us and we're not going to make money. Like Holland is a great artist, and he is openly gay. He's one of the very few openly gay K-pop artists, and he's not really promoted well in Korea, and I feel like it's because of that, actually, because he refuses to live a life in secret, and pretending to be somebody that he's not. So I feel like maybe that's the reason that they're not doing so well anymore, or whether, this stuff, especially for Song Ji-yoon's song, whether that was intended. But and if that's the case, like, it's a pretty sad reality that, even if you just show support for people that are different, you're going to get in trouble and you're going to be ostracized for it. So yeah, it's pretty sad, but like I said, just a theory, not actually confirmed, but that's kind of what I got from it. So yeah, next I'm probably going to get into BTS, because we have a few more segments, so I'll get into BTS a little bit, and then we're going to get into the big one. The EXO music videos are all connected theory, and I'm really excited for this, so stick around and get ready for some EXO and some BTS. Welcome back. And because I don't mean to sound rushed here, but because I really want to get into the EXO theory, we're going to jump right in to the theory behind BTS's music video. So, let's see. This is very long. I don't think I'm going to get to all this. I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. I might have to add some segments, but... So there's a few major theories here. From what I'm counting, there's 1, 2... Yeah, there's 2 major theories here. So at the very least, we'll try to get through those. But yeah, so we'll start here. So, this is very confusing. So basically the theory is that Big Hit has kind of been planning their music videos from the beginning, and making small connections between them, which is kind of the same thing as the EXO theory, as we'll see later, which I'm really excited about it, guys. Like, oh my god. But this is so long. Like, the dedication it takes to come up with these and write it all out, it's like, and find evidence for it, it's crazy. So major theory number 1 is that Jin has died from an event causing the remaining 6 members, because there are 7 members in BTS, to suffer and live their lives in like a really bad way, because they're kind of like lashing out. That's his death. And every time Jin changes his sweater or shirt, he time travels in order to try to save them from this destructive path that they're on. So it includes a couple screenshots here that I will put up for you to see. So Jin, and I forget what music video this was. What music video is this? Help. I don't know. Spring Day? I don't think so. But whatever. So in one of the music videos, Jin catches 6 flowers, each one representing a member, before they fall, and this is kind of to represent that he's trying to save them, again, from this destructive path. And all the clothes that are shown on the chair kind of shows all the times that he's failed to do that. Again, because every time he changes clothes, he's time travels to save them. And then we have this, a tweet that says, "This one really got me shook. Like, imagine all the pain he went through trying to save them. Get you a friend like Seokjin." So, in a lot of these music videos, this was during the Love Yourself era, so, one of those comebacks, but you see just him with like a huge pile of clothes, which shows all the times he's been trying to save them, but hasn't been able to. So yeah, so then the Boy in Love video, which is a great song, released in 2014. So you see Jin falling in love with the girl along with the other members, but Jin seems to be the only one that meets her again. So then, by going into the Love Yourself highlight reel in 2017, you see Jin by a train, and he sees a girl across who happens to drop her diary. Jungkook is in a wheelchair. Yoongi's playing the piano and smoking. In which a girl takes his lighter writing YK. Namjoon has a lollipop and helps a girl drop papers, playing with her hair tie. Taehyung's eating noodles, sees a girl stealing, and he takes her bag and offers to pay. And then you see Hoseok dancing, Jimin recording, and a girl dances, and she brings in a birthday cake for Hoseok. So that kind of connects to their connection to this girl, that they're all kind of in love with her, I guess. Like I said, this is super long. I might have to link it so you can kind of make of it what you want. But in I Need You, this is when Jin actually dies, and you kind of see the members start to suffer. And the theories on how he died in the first place are kind of complicated. And some people are saying that he met the girl in the Boy in Love music video, and in the Love Yourself highlight reel. So maybe that she had something to do with his death, or maybe because he felt guilty about something within the group. So something happened there. So then this imagery that kind of supports, this kind of theory is that you see Seokjin sitting on a bed, symbolic of the deathbed. Jimin almost drowns himself in a bathtub. Jungkook almost dies getting hit by a car. Yoongi sets his bed on fire. Taehyung kills his abusive father. Hoseok overdoses on drugs. Namjoon's in the gas station. And also, Namjoon doesn't really seem to change roles in these music videos, because we've seen him multiple times as a gas station worker in some of these videos. But all that just kind of shows is that they're all suffering some way because of Jin's death. And in the prologue, one of the prologues, you see Jin recording all the fun memories they've had together before he died. So it shows a bunch of kids having fun with no worries, except Jin seems off because he's always in the background just kind of watching them, which kind of shows that maybe it has more to do with his own internal guilt and it was more of a suicide thing, and he's officially decided that he's not going to go back from his decision, and maybe he regrets it as he's reliving all these moments that they had together. And then in the Run video, all the members are becoming very destructive since Jin's death, and they started being careless as a way to grieve with this and kind of cope with it. And in the Fire music video, they kind of realize that they have to move on eventually and they can't keep going down this path. As long as it does, but it doesn't last long. Yeah, so then there's guys in black hoodies in this music video, and those are supposed to represent the bad guys, which has more of this theory below. I'm probably just going to do one major theory here, because even when these music videos were first coming out, Jin dying was a lot of the theories that I saw. So at one point in the video, Taehyung is shown jumping into the crowd, representing now he's now evil, so he's like officially turned, that Jin's death has caused him so much pain that he's just on the point of no return. Like, he can't go back to how he was before. And the only way he can relieve himself of those feelings is to give into the darkness. So, let's see, if we have about 30 seconds here. So, but yeah, I think we're going to end it there because basically more of this is just about, how they're being destructive and how Jin tries to save them. So again, I'll link that in the description below for you to read more. Sorry that I'm rushing this, but I really want to link it to there, so it's really exciting. Armies don't come after me because I'm rushing this, but yeah, so stick around, and next we're going to get into the EXO music video theory. Welcome back, everybody. And now that we've gone a little bit over BTS, we've gone a little bit about the meaning behind the Kokota video by G-Dragon, and how some music videos may have LGBTQ plus themes, and what that might mean for how popular the groups or artists get. We're getting into the big one. The one I literally spent like 2 hours researching, and by researching I mean I watched one video and took a lot of notes on it. And that video will be linked in the description, so in case I don't explain it the right way or I leave anything out, which I kind of did leave some details out because I didn't feel that they were totally relevant to the theory, but I will link that in the description of the video, so you can watch that video and get a good idea. But it is like 25 minutes long, so just be prepared. But yeah, so the theory in its entirety is that all of EXO's music videos, to some extent, I know it excluded Wolf, which is a song we do not talk about. We don't talk about her. And I think that's the only other one that was excluded. But it talks about really all the other music videos, at least all the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah, but this video is by Yadi Potter, so I want to give her credit for doing all the research and coming up with all the evidence for this theory. You're an absolute queen. So we're going to start off in 2011. When did What Is Love come out? Let's find that. Yes, 8 years ago. So yeah, 2012. Yeah, seems about right. Probably like toward like end of 2011, early 2012. This was a pre-debut single, so it was not actually like their debut song, but it was one of the singles that they put out before their actual debut. So this is where we're gonna start. So in this video, you see EXO represented as a whole, and this is with OT12, all of like the original 12 members, and they reference their powers. So Chanyeol has fire, Kai is teleportation, Dio is strength, Suho is water, Luhan is telekinesis, Sehun is God, what is Sehun's power? I don't know what Sehun's power is. Oof. It's right there. I just don't. I can't reach it. I can't grab it. But other than that, Juman is Frost, Tao is Time Control, Chris is Flight, and what am I missing? Lei is Healing. Bacon is Light. Did I say that one? Okay, let me start again. Okay. Chanyo's Fire, Suho is Water, Bacon is Light, Chen is Lightning, Juman is Frost, Kai is Teleportation, Dio is Strength, Tao is Time Control, Luhan is Telekinesis. Chris is Flight, and then who am I missing? Lei is Healing, and then I don't know Saban's power. Being Saban, maybe? I don't know. But I'm sure you can find it somewhere. I'm so sorry. It's been so long since, like, I've been invested in their superpowers, and I just completely forgot what Saban's superpower was. But yeah, so you see a lot of references to their powers because in the stones that Chanyo finds in the music video, you see engravings of, like, the symbols that represents each of their powers, and they kind of connect to the pictures that he finds in a book. And again, it just kind of represents them as a whole because you see them together. And then this is when, like, the big idea of moons and eclipses comes in, because it's really important for the other music videos as it's, like, kind of a motif for that something evil is about to happen or a big battle is about to take place. So you see at the end, like, they're all watching an eclipse happen. You see shots of the moon and during its phases. And this is why they're all kind of shown in this kind of, like, discovery mode or, like, research mode where they're trying to find out more about their powers. Because at this point, like, I feel like they've just discovered that they have them or they were just kind of getting to use them and they don't really know that much about them. So they're trying to use that so they can kind of combat this evil force that is about to come after them and their powers. And this also, because it shows their closest, it kind of prefaces the split that happens with the group in the Mom music video, which is also in 2012, later in 2012. And this evil force is officially identified as the Red Force, is what I think that's what the fans have called it. And this is when it's kind of confirmed that they actually have full control over their powers now, because you see them using them a lot more in the music video, and so they're trying, just kind of revving up to, again, prepare for this evil force. And this music video, it has, like, a whole narration bit before it even gets into the song, and that kind of explains why they had to split up and when they meet again. So in order to have this split, they had to split the Tree of Life, which is pictured in the beginning. And this Yeti Potter believes that they did this with the chant that is shown when the song starts in the Mama music video. That's how they split the Tree of Life. In order to protect it, but it actually created two parallel worlds, because in the music video you see, like, especially between, like, EXO K and EXO-M when that was a thing, you see them in different universes. Like, you never really see EXO-K and EXO-M together for the most part, or, like, anytime you do see them, or, like, certain members, I should say. I don't know if it's exactly, I don't remember if exactly it's split between EXO-K and EXO-M, but you see other members are in a different plane of existence. So, like, there's one shot where, like, there's a split screen, like, split from the horizontally, where, like, Chanyeol's on the top and Chris is on the bottom, or vice versa. So it does suggest that they are in a parallel universe because of the split. So, and this is the phrase where they're under the same sky, but they're on different grounds, and they have to stay this way until they can meet again on the same ground in order to fight the Red Force. So yeah, I have about 15 seconds left, which is not enough time to get into the rest of this, so I will be back after this ad break. I'm probably going to have to add a couple segments to this so we can finish all of it. But yeah, stay tuned and we'll get more into it. Welcome back, everybody. I have added 2 more 8-minute segments because this is a lot. And I really want to get to the end of this one because I have it all, like, written out, notes and everything. Alright, so where we left off was that EXO had to split the Tree of Life and they had to split up because this evil force was after them, and they had to protect the Tree of Life, and they had to protect each other. So they're under the same sky but on different grounds. And they'll meet again under the same sky when the red force is purified, which means made not evil. And also what suggested that they're in a parallel universe is that some members can see each other. So for example, Baekhyun can see Lay, and Suho can see Jumin, which kind of also, I mean, aside from the fact that it tells that they're in a parallel universe, it tells that the split worked, but it also means that they won't be able to meet again until the red force is purified. And they have to meet on Exoplanet, which is another big detail. And then we move to History, which I believe is another pre-debut single. I'm pretty sure it was. Either that or it came out right after Mama. But in the beginning you see a crystal that is believed to have emerged from the middle of the tree after it was split. And this is shown at the start of the History music video. And this music video kind of focuses more on the individual groups, again, to kind of emphasize that they are separated. So I guess they are separated into EXO-K and EXO-M at this point. But yeah, so that just kind of emphasizes that they are separated. They're in parallel universes now. And then this one isn't a music video, but it has to do with a music video. So one of their songs, Power, in the albums, I think it was their 4th album, it came with, each album came with one panel of a comic strip. And in each comic strip, when they put it together, it tells the story of the 8 members going on a mission. Because at this point, there are 8 members now. Luhan, Tao, and Chris have left the group. And Lay is not really promoting with them because of the whole China and South Korea beef. But it shows that the 8 of them are going on a mission. And the comic starts with Bake in the water, which is what we see at the end of the Power music video. And then it just kind of goes through how the members plan to attack to get an object. But when they finally get this object, Suho can't actually get to it. For some reason, I forget how she explained it in the video. Again, which is another point that if you want more a clear explanation, you should watch the video for sure. And then the comic ends again with Bacon back in the water, which kind of symbolizes and lets them know that something went wrong in the mission, and that something that went wrong is what resulted in a temporary loss of their powers. So then we move on to the actual music video for Power, which in my opinion is not their best music video, but in this theory it's important, I guess, but just in the general scheme of things, it was not the best music video they've had. I promise. They have so many better ones. But they're fighting RF-05, which is a robotic agent of the Red Force, and they're fighting with guns instead of their power. So that's how you can kind of know that something happened where they lost the ability to use their powers. And each member picks up an orb towards the end of the video that represents their powers, so it kind of represents them discovering their powers again, getting them back. And the odd thing that I found when I first watched this music video is that Bacon never appears in it until the end. And this video kind of explains it in the sense that at the end when he gets his orb, he creates something like a solar eclipse with his light power, which goes back to the What is Love video and how just the moon is a very important symbol in this video. And that somehow restores all their powers. And then, like I said, the music video ends with Bacon back in the water. But it is all believed that this was a trap that was set up by the Red Force to kind of see how their powers worked for sure, because their goal was to kind of take their powers away from them. So it was kind of to see how their powers work and to actually make them official targets. And then this isn't actually a music video, but we go into the passcode teasers. Now, these music videos, I should have mentioned this in the beginning, in the theory, they don't go in order. So even though, Power came out after the passcode teasers, that doesn't really line up, chronologically by date in the theory. It's just kind of all over the place, which I guess is part of the fun of putting the theory together. So yeah, the passcode teasers, there's 10 of them, one for each member, because at this time, Tao was still in the group. And they're all shown in different cities, which when put together, apparently, the first letter of each city spells Call Me Baby, which is the title track of this album. So it shows that they have control over their powers, but they're not as comfortable using them as they were before, especially as you see in Mama. They're just using their powers constantly, but in this one they're not using it so much, like, especially because they're out in public and they don't want to hurt anybody, and so they're kind of embarrassed by their powers, and they don't want to be like have a target on their back because of their powers. An example of this is like Suho kind of loses control over how much water, or has trouble, trying to figure out how much water. I think he was like in a empty pool or something like that. So he has trouble with that, and then it shows that Chanyeol actually ended up burning a forest. So, but then it goes kind of into like some of the individual teasers themselves. So in Tao's teaser, it's shown that he has a newspaper with a story that's about 10 comments landing in 10 different cities around the world, which represents, each member, each teaser, all that stuff. And then you see Chen reading a book called Overdose, which foreshadows what's about to come for them, and kind of tells you that they could be aware, at least one of them is aware of the Red Force's plan to try to steal their powers. And then in Suho's teaser, you kind of hear a communication device of some sort, like kind of like a walkie-talkie, like one you use during a mission in the background, and it's like the one that you see in the Lotto music video, which is going to be coming up here. And you can tell that time seems to be warped in this universe, and it's gonna be warped until their reunion, which is why they can kind of see into the future and why they can kind of see what the Red Force is trying to do. And then to kind of wrap up this music video, or these teasers, the evil force is on the way. And you can tell this because Sehun sees an eclipse and he starts running. In Kind Bacon's teaser, you can tell that they're being pursued by somebody, and the only one that doesn't get away is Bacon, and he's caught. And that's the theory that they're trying to take their powers and clone them, and Bacon is the first one to be taken and cloned. So that makes him really important, and having him as the first is an important detail. So when we get back from this ad break, I'll get more into that with Overdose. Welcome back to K-Conspiracies, and we are deep in this EXO music video theory, and the theory that all of them are connected. So we left off with Overdose, and at the end of the passcode teasers, Bacon was caught by the Red Force, and like I said, this is important because in a lot of the future music videos, he is shown as kind of the ringleader, standing above everybody else as far as the shots in the music video are concerned. So again, a really important detail to remember going on. So in Overdose, there was kind of an iffy, she was kind of unsure about what was actually going on in this video, but it's either that the others were captured and they were sent into the maze because the music video shows them that they are stuck in a maze, or they found out that Bacon was taken, and they researched where he was, and they willingly went into the maze to try to get him back. And this is kind of proven because at the beginning of the video, you see every other member is walking around like hopelessly, like they're stuck in this maze, they're trying to get out, but Bacon is like pretty much seen as the only one sitting there helplessly, which then leads you to believe that he has been taken by the Red Force, and everyone else is wandering around aimlessly trying to help him and trying to get out of the maze before they are captured too. And then Kyung-soo ends up finding a black box, but when he opens it, he sees flashes of hands everywhere that look like the hands in the Temple music video. So if you remember the one shot with Chanyeol and Suho, with Chanyeol's blue eyes, which were gorgeous, you see figures behind this like lit up white wall that are kind of moving around. You see their hands, so that was kind of what it reminded people of. And this could again be a warning for what's like in the middle of the maze. And at the end of each version, because this is when they had 12 members, so again the videos like in terms of dates don't go in order, but to make the theory make sense is how the order they had to put them in. So we see Kai and Luhan, so Kai for the EXO-K version and Luhan for the EXO-M version, which, if I didn't explain before, which I don't think I did, EXO-K is the group that sang in Korean, and then EXO-M is the group that sang in Mandarin as well. So yeah, that clears that up. So in each version of the video, you see those two people finding their way to the center, and this could be, it's speculated, where the Red Force's lab is and where Bacon is, because you see this really bright light. And for me, this reminded me of the Lucky One video, because the lab that they were in that video was very, like, a bright white. So that's what made sense for me. And then Coco Bob, which is a trippy music video, so this part made sense to me. Kind of represents the fact that they've all been caught now, and they're being experimented on by the Red Force, because in the video it's like very, like, they're on drugs and they have like these little pills, and those kind of represent like a hallucinogenic drug that the Red Force gave them to kind of keep them unconscious and unaware of what was going on, and to keep them from waking up too early. You also see that their powers were weakened in the maze, and they're unable to defend themselves. So that's why they all got captured. And then everyone looks lethargic in this video except for Bacon, which led a lot of fans to believe that they have already successfully cloned him, and it wasn't actually like EXO Bacon. And I'll explain why I said EXO Bacon towards the end, actually in the next one. But that wasn't the actual Bacon, like that was his clone. And they put him in their hallucinations so that they would trust the simulation more. Because, like, oh, we're seeing Bacon, like, he hasn't actually been captured, like, this is all fake. So that's why they did that. And then that moves us into the Tempo music video, and this is where you see that the focus is more on XXO, which is EXO's clones, living their best lives in crop tops and with motorcycles. And when I say crop tops, I'm adding Kim Jong-un, because you've actually ruined my life the moment I saw that. So thank you very much, sir, for doing that. But so yeah, like I mentioned before, with like the bright white walls and the figures behind it, that kind of symbolizes that the real EXO, so EXO, is trapped in the lab. And hi, Mike. Are you good? Okay. But like they're trapped in the lab. What is going on? Oh my god, I love the comic department here. Anyway, so they're all like trapped in a lab, and while the XXO is out being tested in the real world. And at the beginning of the music video, you see the members being scanned by like in front of these red boxes, which could, prove the fact that they're clones. And then you see a lot of moments in the video and like the editing where they glitch, which also kind of shows that it's a simulation. And you see time is still warped in this video because they haven't reunited yet, so obviously time isn't going to be fixed until they have reunited on Exoplanet. And then you keep seeing like this flickering figure, and that is kind of a motif for the clone formation. And you see it as Bacon, and then you see it as Kai, so again that just kind of further proves that they're clones. And then you see like these clear cubes all through the music video. So like Jumin and Dio are playing like chess with these clear cubes, or these clear pieces that turn out to be like white cubes, and Suo is holding one. There's like ice cubes in Sehun's drink that start glowing. And the one in front of Chanyeol and Chen in the video starts to emit a green light, which is said to mean that the clones have passed testing and they're now able to go out into the world on a mission. So like at the end, it's kind of theorized that at the end of this video, EXO regains consciousness or starts to regain consciousness, but the clones by the time they wake up are already gone. And I guess it's Bacon that walks in at the end. Let me see. Yeah, I think it was Bacon that walks in back at the end with the white cube, which starts to kind of become a symbol for EXO, while the red imagery starts to become a symbol for XXO. And interestingly enough, the only member that doesn't glitch in this video is Kyung-soo, and this is said to mean that he is not completely influenced yet, and he's actually trying to help free EXO. So he's not completely loyal to the Red Force. So, and that comes up again in future music videos as well, especially the next one, Lucky One. So yeah, we're gonna get back into this. I've got a little bit more to go, so I'm probably gonna add one more segment to this. So yeah, stick around and we'll get back into the EXO music video theory. Welcome back, everybody. We're gonna jump right back into the theories. So moving into Lucky One, this is when you see all the members are kind of pictured in this lab type of setting, and you see the real EXO coming back and regaining consciousness and trying to get their power and getting their powers back. And it's actually you see some of the cloning process in this video as well, because in the beginning you see Kyung-soo singing his line in a very robotic way, and he's just sitting up very straight, and then the camera kind of pans over to where he's laying down on a gurney, I think that's what it's called, and he's struggling. So that would mean that like the first Kyung-soo was the clone, and then the other one was the actual Kyung-soo during the cloning process. Let's see. Yeah, so that represents the cloning process, and then you see that some members are trapped inside of a box banging on the wall, which again alludes to the being trapped in the lab like we see in the Tempo music video. And then you see that in some shots that they're floating in space, which kind of means that, I guess, would like represent what's going on inside their minds, that they're regaining consciousness. And you see that some hands that are dropping ice cubes, which is kind of what's happening inside and outside in the Tempo music video. So while the clones are being tested, EXO is regaining consciousness. And Kyung-soo is the first member to get his powers back, because in one scene, I'm pretty sure it's like towards the end, like the last chorus, the glass shatters and his power is strength. So that wasn't in the video, but that's kind of how I connected it. And then this kind of makes the other members come back as well. So then you see them all beginning to run away from the nurses that are taking care of them or cloning them, and they're using their power. So they have their powers back now. But the idea is that the Red Force planned for this to happen, because while they're running away from the nurses, the nurses don't put up much of a fight. Like, there's like some scenes where like there's one where Kai just literally starts dancing, which is still a meme to this day, and then her head explodes. Which, I mean, same, every time I see him dance my head explodes. But yeah, it's just like they are destroyed very easily, and at the end you see that there's 4 nurses standing around a table, and they have been monitoring them the entire time. So that led fans to believe that this whole thing was planned, because I guess in order for the Red Force to successfully clone them, or I mean, in order for the clones that the Red Force made of them to be successful, they had to kind of see the full extent of their powers. And that's how they did that, was, allowing them to break free and then using their powers against the nurses. So yeah. And this is the last music video where we see the real EXO until Obsession, which is the most recent comeback they have. But yeah, so then that moves us into Love Shot, which is just focused on XXO, and this is the setup for the Lotto music video. So this is a lot of more shots of the moon in this music video, and that just kind of alludes to the fact that the battle is coming up. The eclipse is coming, it shows phases of the moon, like the battle is coming up soon, like the big battle between the clones and the real EXO. And you see, like I mentioned before, like how the red imagery is now associated with XXO. You see a lot of red imagery with the members, except with Kyung-soo, which again just kind of proves that he's not fully there. Like, even though he's been cloned, he's not really completely loyal to XXO, because he wasn't completely influenced. So you see them like holding red liquid, but then in a shot that you see Kyungsoo, sorry I can't talk today, pouring out the red liquid. So that kind of represents that. And then again, like I said, the importance of having Bacon being the first clone. You see him standing above the members in a lot of these shots. So that kind of establishes him as the ringleader of EXO. Sorry, Suho, we love you. You're one of the best leaders in K-pop, but Bacon's taking your place. Which he's also, I guess he's kind of the leader of Super M, which is terrifying, but also because Taemin didn't want to do it, but that's another thing that is completely unrelated to this. But in the music video, they're robbing a bank, and this is for like phase 1 of their plan, and that's to get money so they can start like their gambling ring in the Lana music video. But the one discrepancy that I did figure out with this video is that in the music video, you see them pointing guns at each other, which for me could mean like a couple things, like maybe it's to like throw off the authorities or throw off the people that they're actually trying to fight in the music video in order to rob the bank, or maybe it's because as clones, like, again, maybe they aren't completely influenced and they started thinking on their own, so like they're all arguing about what should be going down. But yeah, that was kind of a discrepancy that I found, but I feel like there's probably some ways to explain that and a way that fits with the theory. So then that moves us into Lotto, and this is where the clones really start doing shady things. Like there's like cockfighting going on, they're gambling. Yeah, this basically like this whole illegal crime operation. And Kyungsoo is recording it all, and in the end they're caught by a SWAT team, and they're all arrested. However, it kind of looks like that the girl who Chanyeol was seen with in the video was going against them the whole time. Like she was sent by, I don't know, whoever was representing EXO and to kind of sabotage XXO. But at the end, when he's being arrested and she's being taken away by authorities to safety, he hands her a tape, which is presumably the tape that Kyungsoo used, that Kyungsoo recorded all this stuff on. And this is to make, speculated to make EXO look bad, because obviously in like the Pasco teasers, they didn't really want people knowing about their powers, because they didn't want to be, persecuted, they didn't want to be, taken away by authorities or anything like that. So like this whole thing was basically a setup by XXO to make EXO look bad. And Kyungsoo wasn't on the tape, and that was to kind of protect himself, again showing that he wasn't completely loyal to XXO. And Bacon doesn't really show up in the gambling ring, which kind of led people to believe that he was the one who made the call to the SWAT team to get them arrested, which then allows him to save them in the Monster music video, which we will get to in the next segment, hopefully the last segment, because I only have like 3 more to go. So yeah, stick around and tune in after this ad break to the last part of this theory. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to jump right back in to the EXO music videos are all connected theory. And yeah, so we left off with Monster, where basically the whole like gambling, drug, cockfighting ring going on in Lotto was all set up by XXO to make EXO look bad. It also allowed for them to get an upper hand in the Monster music video. So in the Monster music video, you see XXO kind of being tortured by the authorities, by the SWAT team that caught them, and they're not able to fight back because either they don't have EXO's powers yet, or they don't know how to control them and use them as well as EXO does, again because they're clones. And Bacon is pictured separately from the members in this music video, and in the end, he's revealed to have been driving the truck that they were being sent away in the whole time, and then at the end, he turns off the security cameras and lets them free. He like rips off his mask and he's like, "Hey guys, you thought I was gonna let you be taken? Nah, that ain't how I roll." But yeah, so he turns off the cameras and sets them free. And also I found, this wasn't mentioned in the video, but there's a lot of snake imagery in this video and a lot of red imagery again. But there's like one scene in particular where they show snakes, which for me shows that they are clones and they are fake, because like the phrase that's used, like when somebody's fake, it's like, oh, they're a snake. You know, like you don't trust the snake. Like in Adam and Eve, you don't trust the snake. So that showed that they were clones as well. And also not in the video, Kyung-soo was seen sitting on top of a tower where there were a lot of the video cameras, which again just kind of proves that he's monitoring everything, that he's not really loyal to XXO because he's not completely influenced. And at this point in the video, she mentions like the other music videos. The only really connection I could find in Wolf was that in the beginning they form like the Tree of Life in their choreography. And then in Love Me Right, that she couldn't really have like a strong connection to this, but the way I kind of saw it, it's like they might be on another planet. It's like EXO after they escape the lab, and they're kind of all disoriented. They're in a strange place, and they're trying to build up the strength to fight their clones. So that's kind of how I connected it. But then that leads us to Obsession, and when this video was published, the Obsession music video hadn't been released yet, so a lot of this is a lot of speculation. But in the teaser, it shows EXO 2, which means two in French, so it's like the clones versus the real EXO. And then again, you see the crystal from history, but this kind of more symbolizes the XXO clones and their creation. And then you see the Tree of Life being burned and becomes barren, which kind of symbolizes that the Red Force is getting more powerful. And then you see the burning red sun as well, that was predicted in the Power music video. Again, just connecting to that the Red Force needs to be purified in order for order to be restored. And then you see Sehun getting ready to fight, and then it ends with the tagline, "Let the fight begin," which foreshadows that they're going to be battling their clones at the time of this eclipse. And time is still warped again because they haven't reunited. But then, because this was all like before the music video was released, I kind of had to put the clues together myself based on some other research that I did. But in the actual music video, this is when the battle happens, when XXO meets EXO and they're fighting. So especially like the choreography numbers, you see like a white flashing background for EXO, and also like their outfits are totally obvious. Like you can tell that like who's EXO and who's XXO. And then with XXO, you see like these flashing like strobe lights or like these laser beams. So that tells you that they're the clones. And all the members are shown battling each other or facing off against their clones in some way. So Sehun's having like an archery fight like with the bow and arrow. Baekhyun is doing the fencing. Chanyeol is using his fire powers. Chen is caught up in a chess game with his clone, similar like we see in Tempo. And then you see Kai was kind of like the bullfighting, like he's got a blanket, and then like the real Kai is like driving a motorcycle around him, and then XXO Kai is like waving a blanket at him. And then you see the real Suho floating while the clone isn't, which for me kind of symbolizes that XXO is already becoming more powerful than they are, and they're already having the upper hand. And you also see Chen in front of the camera, so he's not taking part in the actual battle, but maybe he was assigned as like the monitoring role in this battle. And at the end, for me at least, I don't think EXO won this battle. Hang on, let me just add a couple minutes to this. That's all I really need. 4 minutes. Great, it's frozen. Love that. But yeah, so I don't think EXO won, because you see, and especially because you see some of the members actually get physically beat. Like, Sehun gets shot with an arrow, and then in one shot you see that Chanyeol was kind of on fire, or he's starting to be on fire. You see like smoke coming off of him. But we also see like, again, that red imagery, especially in the clones, like they start glowing red. So that just shows that the clones have like gained more power against them, and they're starting to get more control over the powers from EXO that they were cloned from. And also the music video ends with the XXO group shot, where in the choreography they do kind of like the neck snap dance move, and then you see the camera fall down, which I feel like for me meant that like they took out the last member, or like they hurt the last member. And then at the very end of the music video, you see a burning earth. which again for me kind of symbolizes that XXO won, and now they're going on like a freaking rampage and they're destroying everything. But for me, like the battle, I don't think the battle is over yet, honestly. I think there is more to come. I don't know where I heard it or like when I heard it. I think it was like last week or something, but I heard that they're gonna do like a repackage maybe in March. I googled it and I couldn't find it, so maybe I was just hallucinating that. But they might be doing a repackage of this album or something like that, but I definitely don't think this saga is over for them. And maybe once that comeback comes out, I'll do an update on this theory. But yeah, so that's the theory that all their music videos are created. And it's kind of, like I said, it's similar to the BTS one, where all their music videos are kind of connected in some way, shape, or form. And I think I think it's really cool. Like, even though it's obviously like this fictional storyline, and in reality it's just music videos, I feel like it's a really good way to keep fans engaged in the music. Instead of just having kind of like your typical music video where you see them dancing and on different sets and in different outfits and all this other crap. Like, I feel like this is a really cool way to keep fans interested in what's going on, and it also allows them to kind of to think about what's going on in the video, and like I said, just be super engaged and engage with each other, engage with the group. But yeah, I think it's really cool, and I think more groups should do it. And obviously EXO and BTS have seen a lot of success, so maybe this is part of that success, is like having that extra something just to keep people intrigued. But yeah, so that was the episode for K-pop music video theories. Like I said, I'm sorry I had to rush some of these theories, but I really wanted to get to the EXO one because it was so long, but it was also super interesting, and it shows that K-pop is more than just flashy music videos. It's actually really intricate stuff that, with a little thought, could be put into a theory like this. But yeah, if you want to see like a better explained version, and her voice is actually very soothing, she narrates the whole video, so if you want to hear like a better explained and much more soothing version of this theory, you can click the link in the description below if you're watching the video, or if you're listening right now, you can head over to our YouTube channel once the video is up and posted and check that video out, or Google it yourself. It was actually pretty easy for me to find when I searched it, so hopefully it's easy for anybody else who wants to know about this theory to find. And, you know, and I'm sure there's like other theories about how the music videos are connected, but this is the one that I found most intriguing. But yeah, like I said, sorry I had to rush some of these other theories. I'll leave the link to those pages in the description as well, so you can check those out fully. But yeah, that was the episode on theories. Next week, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I want to get into like fake dating, but like, I don't know, I feel like maybe it's too soon. I don't know. Because I have an order for that. Like, I want to get into fake dating, and then I definitely want to get to the Kaisu theory, which isn't really a theory, in my opinion, but y'all can believe what you want to believe. But I don't know, I'm actually going home this weekend, so I might take next weekend, kind of skip a show, and to think about it, see if I can come across any other theories. I still have some girl group theories left to go over, so I might touch on some of those next week, or not next week, the week after. So, who knows. But, yeah. Thanks for listening to this episode. I have, like, a minute and a half left. I don't know why I added 4 minutes. But, yeah, if you have any ideas of what you want me to talk about as far as K-pop conspiracy theories go, you can let me know in the comments. And we're also officially on Anchor, and we're also on Spotify. So, if you aren't able to tune in live during your favorite shows, you can head on to Spotify, look us up at Cougar Radio, and listen to it there, which is super exciting because we've been trying for a while to get on Spotify. So check that out for sure. Again, I will try to get these videos edited and posted this week before I go home for the weekend, so you guys can watch that. But yeah, so again, thanks for tuning into K-Conspiracies. Tune in this week for more of your favorite shows, and I will see you in a couple weeks for the next episode. So have a good rest of your evening and enjoy your week.